Most of the weekend's protests started out peacefully, but as we saw, the later it got, the more violent some of the crowd became. Our investigative team has been digging into who these groups are and what they hope to accomplish. KXAN investigator Jody Barr reports on who intelligence experts say could be to blame for the violence happening at some of these protests.
Well, most of the protesters we saw down here wanted to just be heard, but there were others who showed up spray painting buildings and taunting police officers. Some of that taunting turned to bottles and rocks being thrown at officers, which resulted in Austin police unleashing streams of pepper spray and firing beanbags into crowds. Much of the violence can be attributed to groups known as Antifa, according to Stratfor, a global intelligence and security company here in Austin. Antifa, short for anti-fascist, have been around for decades. Stratfor's senior global security analyst told me much of what he's seen in the protests around Austin appear to fit with the tactics of Antifa groups. The damage to property, graffiti, and even arson, all trademarks of the way those groups conduct themselves in protests. Tracking who is in those groups is tough. They're often wearing face coverings and often operating in disorganized cells across the nation.
There's certainly no kind of central command and control structure here, and everyone is kind of, it's very much like a grassroots effort. So you might have, like-minded individuals in Austin who kind of, give themselves the Antifa name, or they might adopt other kind of leftist ideological names like Red Brigade.
Now, President Trump announced over the weekend he was looking to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. But the intelligence expert I interviewed today told me that might be difficult because of the disorganized structure of groups like Antifa, and because the risk of Antifa groups killing people through terrorist acts is low. The expert says these groups are more interested in property crimes than taking lives. From downtown, Jody Barr, KXAN investigates.